went horseback riding while they were swimming in the ocean.
Yes, it was really kind of 2 horseback rides thrown into one.
We are just back from our day at Half Moon Cay.
Yes.
Or Half Moon Key, depending on where you're from, I guess.
Yes.
How you pronounce it. And that is Holland America Line's private island in the Bahamas. So we got off the ship this morning. This is a tender port. Holland America Line does not have a pier built in. So this is a tender port. So you get off the ship, and by the time we got off, they opened it so you didn't have to have tickets anymore.
Correct.
You could just go. And so you get off the ship and you get on this water taxi that they have.
Yes, this is, I mean, it's a tender port, but they're not using their lifeboats, which you do in a lot of ports. They have water taxis based here on the island because it's their island.
Yeah.
So those hold 400 people instead of 100. So it does speed up the process.
Definitely. And so you get on there, and then we got off once we got over to the island, which only takes probably less than 20 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. If that, of actual ferry time. Obviously getting on and off the boat is
depending on how many people are on your
is a different story. But the actual sail from the ship to the dock was less than 10 minutes.
Okay. And so once you get there, they have an information booth that you have to sign in at. And let me tell you, I was not a fan of the people in the information booth. They did not answer questions. They were kind of grumpy.
Yes, they were not very happy to be there.
No, they didn't appear to be very
happy to really talk about your excursions or tell you anything about them.
Right. So. But you have to go over there because you have to sign in. You have to sign your waiver. And for the
horseback riding, you had to get weighed.
Yes, so you had to go into their booth and you had to step on the scale, and they will tell you if you're fat or not.
And you're too fat to ride the horses anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then this is the part that I was not very happy about. Because you had to go into their little hut to get on the scale, and you got out, and then we didn't know where we were supposed to go, where our actual meeting point was for.
Yes, no one had told us where we were supposed to go.
So we went back. We sort of cut in line because, of course, there were next people in line because we didn't know where to go, and so we asked where to go, and they weren't particularly cordial about it.
No, even though it was just right across the way to a fountain, which was not a fountain. It was just kind of a hole in the ground with some blocks around it. There was no water. There was no.
It probably was a fountain at some point. So anyway, we went there and we were whisked away pretty quickly. Actually, by the time we had done that. And
yes, everyone was there early, so we left almost 15 minutes early from the actual start time.
Everybody was there.
Yes.
Which is nice. That's nice when that happens. And then we got on a tram to take us over to the ranch. So the ranch, and we have plenty of video of this, the ranch, this was only the second day. They built a brand new ranch. And this was only the corral, I guess.
Yes, Pegasus Ranch is what they call it.
Its name. Its name is Pegasus Ranch. And so this was only the second day of operating this brand new ranch. And so we got to go and see that. It's very well done, very nicely built.
Yes.
And there are actually quite a few horses over there.
Yes, there are.
So I'm not sure how large the groups are allowed to get. Obviously, there are only a certain number of horses, so you can only have a certain number of people per excursion. So I'm not sure how large. Our group only had around a dozen.
Maybe 14. Because when they split us up, we had 6 in the first and 8 in the second.
Okay.
So that would be 14.
Mm-hmm. And it was very nice. They had a nice all pasture area for the horses.
Yes, multiple corrals and a large pasture, and that's just what we could see from the entrance where they had all the buildings set up for
They
us.
probably had about 24 horses, and what they'll do is they will get you set up. So you'll have a helmet that you have to wear for the first part. It's separated into 2 parts, your horseback ride. Oh, one thing we wanted to mention was in the Holland America Line description for this horseback ride. The description is terribly outdated. They need to update it, and we're going to let them know that because of their their new
among other things.
Yeah, their new location. Some of the things in the description are dated, and so they need to be updated from when we did this anyway. And so you do not go to the highest point of the island.
No, no, you set sail. I mean, the ranch is right there on the beach. You come out of the paddock and right onto the beach, and you're just the walking portion is right there, just through the sand on the beach, down a little bit, and turn around and come back. And then we went back, swapped out horses. They let us, which was something else that was wrong in the description. They insisted on jeans and
closed-toed shoes,
not water shoes. They were very specific in the description for the excursion. No water shoes and jeans. But we were the only people with jeans. Everyone else had mostly shorts. There was a lady with some capris, but most people had on shorts, and there was no issue. They were in fact encouraging the water shoes rather than sneakers. So that was something that needs kind of changed a little bit.
And so the first part, as Joe started to say, we got to walk around the paddock area a little bit. I was the very last to get my horse. You were on a horse for probably 15 minutes by the time I got my horse. And so they walked around the paddock area while I was waiting. And then I finally got to get on a horse, and then we went out of there and across the street, and you went on the land portion of this horseback ride. So you got to go, and it's just very slow in a line of horses. If you've never ridden a horse before, you will be absolutely
There were people in our group who had never ridden a horse before.
You will be perfectly fine.
Yes, you don't get above a walk, certainly on the land portion. It's a very slow, follow the horse in front of you, just that's it.
Yeah. So if you are an experienced horse rider, you probably will not enjoy this excursion very much.
No, it is very much geared to people who have not ridden horses or are certainly not something you do on a regular basis. Yes, level. Very novice level.
But it is fun, and we did get to ride along the beach in the sand. And then after we did a loop around there, we went back to the paddock. We got off the horse, and then that's when we changed. So we were able to take our jeans off. We had our swim trunks on underneath,
and we swapped into our water shoes.
Yes, we swapped out of our tennis shoes into the water shoes that we took with us. And they take your helmet off. And then this is the part where you're going to go into the ocean while riding the horse. So they give you a little
swim belt.
Swim belt, yes, I guess. It's not a life vest.
No.
It's not meant to save your life if you fall off the horse. But the horse, when it does go into the water, it's only at most 4.5 feet deep.
Right. Yes. The water never really reached above your knees, kind of the shoulder level of the horse. So the horses weren't actually swimming, which was something else that's a little misleading in the description. You were just walking along through the water at kind of shoulder level of the horse.
But they do
They did move
They
a
do
little
move
faster.
a little bit faster in the water.
Yes.
So that was nice. Be prepared for horse poop in the water. They do that while they're walking and even in the water.
In the water
and
as well,
floats.
yes.
You will see it.
Yes.
And so, but that was fun. I had never done that before.
No,
We've
that
done
was new.
horseback
We've done
riding
horseback
before.
riding. I've ridden before and had never been through the water.
So that was pretty cool. I did like that. And you have a very different saddle when you're on the water portion versus the land portion.
And they swapped out horses. It was a completely different horse. So instead of having a traditional saddle, they called it a water blanket. And it didn't have stirrups.
It didn't have stirrups. So be prepared for that as well, because your feet just kind of hang there. And then when your horse starts going faster, your feet
Yes.
fly back in the water.
Yes, even though they tell you to keep them up front, that can be a little difficult for people, I suppose.
And so that was, but that part was a lot of fun. Now that part isn't very long.
No.
You only get about 15 minutes to do that, maybe even a little bit less.
Probably less than that.
So that part wasn't very long. So now here comes my little tidbit. I'm not sure that this excursion is worth how much it costs.
And that very well could be. I mean, it's certainly the shortest excursion that we've done anywhere.
It's only an hour and a half at most.
Well, yes, it was billed on the excursion ticket as an hour and 15 minutes, and it took a little over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So it is very short of an excursion, and a lot of that time you spend waiting there at the ranch, waiting to get on a horse, getting off a horse, changing, getting on another horse. So you're only riding for a pretty short stretch of time.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was fun. It was fun, and I did enjoy it.
Yes.
But I don't know for how much this costs, and I actually don't know how much it costs, but I know it's more than $100 per person. So I don't know with how much that costs, if that maybe half hour, 30 minutes of actual riding time is worth $100. You can take that as you will.
Yes, make a decision for yourself.
Yeah.
But that's about what you're looking at.
But some things that we did definitely want to set the record straight on for this particular excursion. This is horseback riding in Half Moon Cay in Holland America Line's private port in the Bahamas. It was fun. The description hopefully will be updated by the time you're looking at it. Right now it's out of date. And you can wear your swim trunks or shorts. You don't have to wear long pants. I will tell you, we got to the island before our meeting time, and we just walked around the island a little bit. It was uncomfortable walking around the island because it's hot in jeans and sneakers.
Yes, we actually had to take them off and our socks off because we walked on the beach.
Because we walked on the beach, and I didn't want to get sand all through my nice, good tennis shoes. It tells you, the description tells you, you aren't supposed to wear water shoes. You absolutely can wear water shoes. It was actually encouraged.
Yes.
So just some things to note, some good tidbits to help you out with this excursion if you're planning it. So thanks so much for watching.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
We'll see you next time.